Alright guys, welcome on board. We are gonna dive into another U-boat stream tonight. Great to have you in. And yeah, let's first take a little look at the overall situation. This is U-boat, a World War II submarine simulation. And as you might guess from this starting picture of my submarine pacing through the Atlantic, you might guess that we are playing on the German side actually. Or you actually know it because you are well known to the game. Anyway, in U-boat you slip into the role of a German submarine commander, and you do that in a completely dynamic and open world where you can just go anywhere. I mean, actually what you should do is go where your commanding officer tells you to go, but in principle you can do just anything and you can go just anywhere on the map. And the map actually is the whole world. You can just get once around the world. Not quite sure what you can do at the moment in the Pacific, but at least end of January we will get missions which are really acting in the Pacific, taking place in the Pacific. Hi guys, by the way, great to have you in. So allow me to do this little intro, even though there might be a few guys in the stream now who are well acquainted with what I do here, but let me summarize it briefly anyway. So I am doing a complete playthrough through the whole war campaign of the game in this complete open world, dynamic world. And I started at the very beginning of the war in September of '39 in the port of Wilhelmshaven. And yeah, you can choose the time period where you start. If you like, you can also start later in the war, but I really like this approach. And since the game got out of early access, we have two different submarines that we can choose. And yeah, my way of playing is, first I start at the very beginning of the war. Second, I start from the scratch with that small, tiny Type 2 submarine, which has low range, low high speed, few torpedoes. And yeah, my third baseline is I play at maximum difficulty level, or say almost maximum difficulty level. They give it 100% is full difficulty, and I'm playing at 97 something. Yeah, if anybody's interested, I could later also dive a little bit into the difficulty settings that I have, but let's skip that for now to get into the gameplay. So starting at the very beginning of the war, with that tiny submarine, you get missions where you can earn your merits, and you see that I successfully finished quite a few of them. And yeah, these missions most of the missions are about sinking enemy merchantmen, so collect tonnage. Then there are missions where you can, or where you have to put mines into the shipping lanes, into the fairways of the enemy. And another typical mission is that you have to drop a spy somewhere behind enemy lines, on enemy shores, and a few more special missions. And I didn't perform too bad, so finally I got promoted to be the captain of a type 7C by now, which is fairly okay-ish. Yeah, it's great. It's larger, has much more torpedoes than the type 2, has a relatively high maximum speed and also an enormous range. Still, its range would make it pretty difficult to get over to the Atlantic and carry the war to the enemy's coast. But yeah, we do a little trick that is, I think, historically correct. So at one point in the game, we earned us the ability to place milk cows over the Atlantic. So what we do now is we can go all the way over the Atlantic, which would actually use half of our fuel, so we wouldn't have much fuel left for operating in the target area, and then we can summon so-called milk cows, which is very bulky submarines, and there you can refuel. You could also restock torpedoes and restock food and quite some more stuff. That's the situation. And then you can go into the target area. Like on this mission, it was this one here. It's just not marked anymore because we already sank the 10,000 tons that were supposed to be sunk. Still, I'm in the area because doing all the effort getting over the Atlantic, I don't just want to get home. So I refueled, I refilled the torpedoes after having sunk this 10,000 tons and went back into the area to continue hunting, because just any ship that we sink in these quadrants here will account for the Operation Drumbeat, where we are already at the third stage. So this is finished when we have finally sunk 200,000 tons. We are at 150,000. Hey, yippee up. Nice to have you in. No, nothing. I'm still just introducing. I just started. I'm a little bit later tonight with my start than I used to be. I just did I'm still in the startup summary. So we had quite some action, did this and that, sank a ship here, followed a convoy there, which was pretty well guarded. And now we have a few torpedoes left, and we know that there is a single merchantman going that course. We located it with we did two hydrophones checks, this one and an hour later this one, and by this we can extrapolate their course roughly and also their speed. So we estimate the speed to be 8 knots, and so we did a bit of that reckoning, which means that after 2 hours they would be here, and that was actually the position. So after 2 hours we would be there, which means that we would be something like 4 miles apart. And this is what I want to go for. Maybe play a little bit safe, set the course like that. And there we go. That's our mission. We want to intercept that single merchant and sink it. Well, first check their nationality. You could not just sink any ship. You have to check which nationality it belongs to. If it's neutral, you can't sink it. If it's neutral, you can board it. You can check whether they are carrying contraband cargo. But if everything's all right, you just can't sink it. There you see the captain on the bridge, scanning the horizon with his binoculars. Haha, hey, not wet, just cold. Great to have you in. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, my day was great because, my wife and me, we met with two of my good old dear school friends and their wives. So we had a nice afternoon. We met somewhere, did some nice afternoon hiking, and finally went to a restaurant and had a nice dinner. So, and a wonderful chat during the hike in the restaurant. It's always so great. Yeah, I'm living quite far away. Well, I mean, something like 250 kilometers away from my town of birth and the town where I went to school and everything. So I'm so lucky to still have contact to quite a few of my classmates from back then, and it was, yeah, wonderful. I haven't seen them for, I would say, more than a quarter of a year. So what did I have? I had Sauerbraten. We call it in German. It's roasted beef. Roasted beef, and this beef was put into vinegar before for something like 2 days. So the beef actually gets soaked with vinegar, which gives it a very spicy flavor and makes it tender. Yeah, and it was so. Now I am a bit on the limit of my vocabulary. So we had a red cabbage, if this is the right word for that. Red cabbage. Don't know if this rings a bell in English. And Kartoffelklöße. Yeah, that was great. It was really a good day, yeah. So what about you? Not wet? And yippee up, what was your day like the Saturday? Hope you also could enjoy it a bit and relax. Yeah, meanwhile, let's check the status. But yeah, I'm still checking the chat, definitely. But let me, in parallel, check the status. The bilge is fine. Just a few drops of water in. Food is alright. Yeah, we offer the highest variety of food that we can, because we have a little bit of a motivation problem with the high fatigue of the crew. So when I get back home, I definitely gonna have to send them on shore leave. But yeah, this large negative effect of fatigue, at the moment I can still counter it by giving them decent food. At the cost of that, the more different types of food you offer, the more overall they are eating. So the burn rate in total of food increases when you have different food on the menu. So that's fine. Let's check how many torpedoes are left. So we fired a few torpedoes, and yeah, actually we fired 3 torpedoes on that last single merchantman, and all 3 gave us a hit. And yeah, so we still have these 3 reloaded. Then we have, yeah, that's the steam power torpedo, which is more visible to the enemy because it creates a bubble trail, but it can actually go faster than the electric ones. If you like, you could actually tune the speed of the steam power torpedo and make it much faster than the electric ones, which just go with 1 standard speed. These 2, and this one is a torpedo with a sound seeking pistol, which is pretty comfortable. Still, what we see is that we have one here, the torpedo, the steam powered torpedo is quite an old one. We didn't get anything better. The P1 pistol is of relatively unreliable design. So might well be that we have an increased probability of dots using this torpedo in comparison to these. So that's the situation so far. Yeah, okay, pretty cold. Yeah, but yeah, maybe that's alright, isn't it? Just relaxing a bit. And so, yeah, fingers crossed for you for the 2 tests that you have on Tuesday. Wolfpack, yep. I played it. I tried it a few times, and I even tried it with together with Weight Loss. You remember that guy also from the stream, Weight Loss Games? I actually played it together with him once, which is a great experience. And I think the developers are working on that game to even extend it. So all that I hear about the game sounds great. Playing it is also great because you really do all the stuff manual, the diving, the just everything. So you really feel the physics of the submarine, even more than in this game here. But on the other hand, it's so complex. In principle, it's multiplayer, and in principle you need, I think, 4 or 5 people to operate the submarine. So you slip into the role of the officers, and that's great, but the game is so complex that it's pretty hard to actually find people to play it with you. The servers are relatively deserted usually. But I would warmly recommend it, and if you have a few bucks to spare, it's a wonderful support for a small developers team to get that game and try it out. Yeah, that's great. So, I mean, if anybody of you is, well, is owning that game as well, Wolfpack, so I would love to set up a crew of something like 4 or 5 guys together with you guys from the stream. Sorry, I should use the term guy differently. I was always having that impression that you use it independently of the gender. So please, everybody in the stream, whatever gender you are, please feel addressed. I feel that maybe it would be a little bit difficult for me to get rid of that habit using the word just as a general term. Yeah, it is. So if anybody of you actually has the game, I would quite like to yeah, okay, I would quite like to play together. Or also, I mean, if somebody of you guys also plays DayZ, I would also love to do a little team up with you in DayZ. UBOAT is just single player, so we can't do anything there. So if anybody of you in the you guys watching, anybody of you has some interest in the game of DayZ, we could try to find some day to play together. And yeah, the same for Wolfpack. Now let's take a look at the map. Time is progressing and we are getting closer to our target position. Well, let's give it a save. As usual, I give it a new name, create a new save game. at least each time I start a new stream, so it would be W225. Here we are. Yeah, not wet. I mean, I I might have been talking about accents in one of my earlier streams, and that I sometimes have a bit of a problem to understand them. But on the other hand, I well respect accents, and there are also a few German accents which dialects where I have quite some problems. But on the other hand, I really love that accents still exist. They really give this kind of local color to everything, and I would find it pretty boring if just anybody speaking English all over the world would just sound the same. So I pretty much love that flavor that accents and dialects give to conversation. Only I'm not so very good in understanding them. But that's my problem. And I'm sure I would well understand you. Yeah, okay, Liverpool, nice. Yeah, of course, the whole world knows Liverpool. I don't have to mention for what, right? I mean, the whole world, at least which is interested in music. Hey, Bob Trouty, great to have you in. Yeah, I'm Manchester. Liverpool and Manchester is not that far apart, is it? Next door, yeah, right. Next door neighbors. Yeah, I think there are a few more famous musicians coming from Liverpool and also from Manchester, right? Not only the Beatles. Yeah, thinking of what's the name? Oasis, yeah, the Gallagher brothers. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether Oasis was from Liverpool or Manchester. Yeah, okay, they are from Manchester, alright, yeah. Yeah, Noel Gallagher, and what was the name of his brother? Ah, Liam, yeah, that was it. So let's do a little bit of time acceleration. Hey, great. I feel very honored actually to have so many native speakers in my stream. So that gives me at least that little gut feeling that my English might be fairly okayish. Ah, yeah, yippee up. That's great. Yeah, do you have the game actually? Not wet. So, um, yeah, let's do a little bit of time acceleration. Time of the day. Yeah, it's still early. It's just 2 o'clock, and we have to keep in mind that this is not the local time. So it's even earlier. We could at least subtract 4 hours because 2 o'clock is European time that we have on our chronometer, on our watch. And it's at least 4 hours of time shift to where we are. So local time is probably only 10 o'clock. Yeah, you can. So, well, I mean, if you actually buy it, maybe just give me a note. And yeah, I'm sure that today, or at least in one of the next streams, weight loss games will be in the game just as well. And so then we would already be three, and maybe we can do it. As I said, I did it with him, but I think it's would be great fun if you would do it with more people. I don't know, maybe it becomes a bit chaotic as well, but yeah, I think it's a wonderful simulation. And they are working actually on a Corvette. So what they want to do is to introduce a Corvette into the game as well, so that some players could play the Corvette, hunting the submarine, and some others play the submarine. And that's amazing. That's an amazing concept, which has never been there before. Yes. Yeah. That's it. It's roleplay as well. Yeah. So here we are, and our target should be somewhere there, and maybe we already have a little bit of a smoke column over there. Let's check it with the binoculars. I think I saw something there. Yes, there we have already the first hint of a smoke column down back over the horizon. Yeah, hey Buff Trouty, are you talking about U-boat? So your recent U-boat mission, or are you talking about Wolfpack? Because we just had that Wolfpack discussion. Yeah, yip yap. So, have a good time with maths. I've never much loved maths, but actually my job, well, maths finally helped me to have a decent job. So I hate to be paternalistic, but yeah. Doing maths, well, of course it depends on what your aims are for the future. You're not, yeah, of course, sorry. Yeah, I wasn't serious, but serious. I actually didn't have a good time with maths as well. I had a terrible time with maths at school. Although I have to admit that later in my job, I grew fond of it. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, well, so I really don't want to be a guy like that here in the stream. Just want to have fun here with you guys. So, yeah, sorry for that remark, but nevertheless, yeah, fingers crossed for the tests that you're gonna have. Yeah, that's fine. So now let's take a look. It is 290, which is minus 70, minus 75 something. So if we do it like that, okay, that would put their position there if the figures are roughly correct. Well, I just had these two data points, that one and that one. So maybe it would be a good idea to do one more hydrophone check and see what, in this case, Mr. Preen is gonna say. Yeah, come on. So before we get in, let's give it one. Okay, I was going. I just had the shift of watch. So Mr. Arles just took over. Let's do the hydrophone check. So as most of you guys in the stream probably know, the hydrophone is some kind of fixed workflow for the crew, so that you don't have to do all that micromanagement. So you see the off-watch crew running to the front compartment. In the background you see Mr. Grada. He has just opened the valves to let the seawater stream into the ballast tanks fore and aft. So they are first flooding the fore ballast tank, which makes much sense if you want to dive quickly, and there we do the stern ballast tank just as well. The depth steers are being manned, and down we go. Down we go. That's great, isn't it? This graphics when you dive, when you have this canopy of water over your head. Yes, right, just beautiful to watch, isn't it? I mean, how the crew is operating the boat is beautiful, and the graphics just as well. So now the crew will bring the boat down to 50 meters, and when we are at 50 meters they're gonna stop the engines, and we'll just stay here afloat, being silent and listening. Mr. Preen at the hydrophone, and we already have a contact. There we are. See, my dead reckoning is not too bad. So according to that, I called it contact SO2. It's there. So maybe I should adjust this extrapolation of the course a bit. So maybe it's roughly going like that. And this is in accordance with the angle that I took. Pretty nice. Yeah, you're right. I actually do have a Discord account, but I neglect it. And I shouldn't do that. I actually should kind of... Yeah, good point, good point. Good point, yeah. I will actually take a look at my Discord account, and I should reactivate. Well, it is active, but I just ignore it, so I shouldn't do that. And good point about the YouTube chat. Yeah. Although at the moment I do have this multi-stream chat here, and in principle, if it works, although I sometimes have the feeling that it doesn't, in principle, I should also see the chat from YouTube here. Only point is that the people from YouTube usually are not that chatty, but of course, nevertheless, I'm pretty happy to have them in. So my recommendation to all the guys watching on YouTube is to, if you really would like to participate in the chat more deeply, better switch to Twitch. So if I say that, I hope that there is no bot actually now being alerted and deleting this statement out of the stream. So I love to have you guys, of course, on Twitch. Yeah, also use the chat on Twitch. Don't hesitate. It's just a bit of my kind of gut feeling that the Twitch community is not as chatty as sorry, other way around. The YouTube community is not as chatty as the Twitch community. But yeah, as I said, in both communities, never hesitate to give me some feedback, give me a hi or just anything. Yeah, that's so nice that you're just watching in parallel to playing the game by yourself. So please give us a constant update how your game is going. Yeah, at the moment I am having a glass of wine mixed with water. Yeah, Trinkwasser and wine mixed actually. Yeah. Xbox, all right, yeah. So here we are. I usually go through the complete hydrophone check, which takes 5 minutes. And although I already got the information that I wanted to have, I still stay down here to check whether there is any other guys around in vicinity, in listening range. By the way, at the moment we have pretty calm weather, so we see that we have this enormous range of the hydrophone. And there the crew is now opening the valves of the compressed air, using the compressed air to push the water out of the ballast tank. Beautiful mechanics. You actually see it, and in parallel you see how the amount of compressed air is dropping. We still have quite some backup, but whenever we get back to the surface, some of the crewmates is gonna turn on the compressors. We have 2 of them. We have a diesel compressor and we have an electric compressor. And whenever we are on the surface, one crewmate is going to turn on both of them to get back compressed air as fast as possible. Having a full, sufficient complement of compressed air is actually the most vital thing, because this is what brings you back to the surface when you're down deep. A bit of water in the bilge, always almost nothing. So let's just have one crewmate switching on the pump. Okay, yeah, you think you can find something better than... Yeah, that might well be. I just usually don't do it because it's so time consuming to do this whole sweep manually. Yeah, relatively quiet sea at the moment. And we are closing in. Do we have eyes on the... Hey, where is he? Where is the... Ah, yeah, there we see that tiny smoke column. So, Mr. Trouble, the captain is sleeping, so the bosun is gonna operate on the binoculars. Here we are. Doesn't look much closer still. Yeah, that's right. I could look at that for minutes. Hey, Mr. Trummer, what are you doing there? That's a bit weird. Okay, so this is a bug. On the one hand, I have Mr. Trummer operating the UZO, and on the other hand, he's just running around there. I never had this bug before. That's a bit weird. So he's wandering around on deck, taking a walk. Yep. Hey, Chainsaw, great to have you in. Good evening, or whatever time you have. Nice to have you in. So, how was your Saturday? Ooh, what a beautiful sound. So, in the multi-stream setting, I can't quite see what that was. A few seconds. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was a new subscription in YouTube, right? I am in this shared chat here, so I'm not quite sure, but relatively sure. Great, thank you very much. That is that is so much appreciated. Ah, it's you. All right. Yeah, okay. Not wet, just cold. That's nice. So you switched also to the YouTube channel and gave me a follow there. Thank you very much. It was a bit tricky to figure that out here on my screen. Yeah, that's the backdraw that you have when you do this kind of double streaming. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you had to work, yep. So I hope you have some other day of the week off for that as compensation. Yes, yeah, right. Arkansas. Ah. All right. That's great. Yep. Yeah, I think you already mentioned that. Yep. Now that you say it, I remember. Yeah, as for me, I also have to do a little bit of work tomorrow, so there is some, how would you call it, back leg, some stuff, which I still have to prepare from Monday, which I didn't manage to do last week. So tomorrow will probably be a few hours of work for me just as well, in home office. Yeah, Chainsaw, great to know. I wasn't aware that you also were from the US. I'm always fascinated to have you guys in the stream. I mean, on the one hand, because of the distance, that's so fascinating how we can communicate now. And on the other hand, it always, I mentioned it before, always makes me a bit happy that native speakers also tend to watch my stream. So my English can't be too bad then, I hope. And, well, looking at the content that we have, maybe a German accent makes it a little bit more atmospheric even. Hey, thanks very much. Yeah, but now let's figure it out. It is on almost 90 degrees by now. Minus 90 degrees, to be precise. So let's take that angle. Okay, so it's pretty unprecise, but yeah, we are far ahead of them. So we could easily get in now. Yeah, wonderful to hear, because this is actually what I love about this game. Yes, we already had that in the stream just before. I mentioned how atmospheric, yeah, the graphics is, and how atmospheric this behavior of the crew actually is. I remember one guy in the stream once saying that a U-boat is like The Sims in a submarine. So, changing course, getting in the way, and yeah, come on, let's do some time acceleration actually. Yeah, right. I mean, it's a point, this comparison. It's weird, but yeah. In a way, I quite liked it. That's why I really kept it in mind. Where is he? The smoke column should grow larger. Why doesn't it? But let's take the binocular. So, guy, where are you? There he is. Let's just hope that he didn't change course. It is at 65 degrees now. Yeah, that's just guesswork at the moment. Just a long swim, yeah. Yes, exactly, Chainsaw. We are hunting down another single ship, yeah. Which is a good opportunity. I mean, we had this great action with the convoy, with that well-guarded convoy. but yeah, it was unsuccessful. We did 2 approaches on that large convoy and we didn't sink a single ship, although we scored a few hits. They were not sufficient to sink the guys. So yeah, there will be another convoy some day later, which we can go for. But right now I'm pretty glad to have another single ship. Let's just hope that they are British or American or Canadian, whatever, well, enemy nation actually. So we should be more or less right in the way of their course by now. So now it's an angle of 75, minus 75. Yeah, it does somehow make sense. Yeah, that's right. The problem is that now we are already almost 3 years into the war and the merchantmen become armed. So there are certain merchantmen which have deck guns themselves. And, well, actually a merchantman is a much more steady basis for a gun than a submarine. And so, in principle, the submarine could just lose when they start firing on a submarine with a deck gun. So, from that point of view, often it doesn't make sense anymore. But there are still certain ships which don't have deck guns. So let's see if this one is going to be one of them. I would actually do that and try a surface attack. But let's see what kind of ship we get here. Yes, it's 85 degrees by now. So now we are pretty straight ahead of them. Oh, there is a second ship on the horizon, or is it just a artifact? Might be a programming artifact. Might be. I had that once or twice before, so this smoke column might be an artifact actually. Or let's just hope that it's not another German submarine. Yeah, just a bug, actually, that's what I mean. A bug. Yeah, I think it was just a bug. So let's turn the course. Let's go to cruise speed. And now when we step down from flank speed, now we can actually recharge the batteries, which is, yeah, quite some need for. Never heard of that story of the Sydney. So if you say HMS Sydney, it must have been a British ship. Yeah, I once saw a documentary about some German tactics that the Germans had some kind of merchantman being transferred into a deadly destroyer, like so what is HMAS then? What does the A mean actually? So that they had a merchantman with special plating and everything and a lot of guns, and these guns were well hidden. And so if that merchantman was attacked, they could kind of drop down their camouflage and then launch an enormous firepower. Nah, I don't remember the name actually. Ah, okay, yes, of course, Australia, yeah. Maybe it sounds a bit like maybe that was also part of that documentary. I don't know. Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, I sometimes forget that the head of the state of Australia is still the king by now, isn't it?
Ich erwarte Ihre Befehle.
Nah, Mr. Trummerl, I still need you on deck. I still need you on deck. There we are, heading straight for the smoke column, and that other smoke column was definitely a bug. King Charles, yeah. I'm still always kind of inclined to talk about the Queen. How many years has she been Queen? All my lifetime, actually. So I don't know, 60 years, 70 years? No. No, we are perfectly ahead of that guy and just have to wait until he approaches us. Or she, if you talk. Yeah, think of a ship in terms of she. Yeah, the 50s, right? Yeah. Yeah, it would be 70 years more. That's pretty amazing. So, what's the maintenance situation? Looks alright, and yeah, no panic. It will still take a while until we are in firing range. Okay, strain and stress is going further down, but still there. Discipline 99%, that's alright. And battery capacity going up. Lifetime acceleration.
Peilung 355 Grad.
Oh shit, we should dive by now. Definitely. So guys, get the boat down. No, we are closer than I wanted it to be. Hey, Hero Sons. Great to have you in. Or is it Hero Sun S and you're from Japan? Hero Sun? However, it is wonderful to have you in the stream, and thanks a lot for the follow. That's very much appreciated. Come on, guys, get the boat down. I don't want to get spotted.
Wir sind auf Seebordtiefe.
All right, there we are.
Handelsschiff, 355 Grad.
Yeah, at that distance, there is not much of a risk to poke the periscope all up.
Demnächst ein Kartenspiel stattfindet. Seid ihr dabei?
Hey, Hero. Are you playing Wolfpack? We just had that discussion. I don't know how long you are already in the stream, but just something like half an hour ago we were discussing that it would be nice to have us guys here in the stream forming a team for Wolfpack actually. So if you are playing Wolfpack, you might be one of, yeah, if you like to. So me personally, I was actually thinking about maybe doing that between the days, between Christmas and New Year. If we would try to set up something. Hey, they look pretty much like they have a bit of, yeah, they're listing, aren't they? Sorry, trying to do multitasking. Yeah, it looks like the guy is listing a bit. Let's just hope that he didn't get caught by another submarine already. Yeah, we are gonna have a few more streams until then, so maybe let's do. Yeah, I'm not gonna stream tomorrow because I always have to get up early on Monday. Yeah, but let's see. We're definitely gonna have a few streams, and latest next Thursday, Friday, Saturday again. It's a merchant ship, yep, definitely. Hey, yeah? Weight loss? Yeah, okay. Great to have you in. Wonderful. So, we were just talking about you because we were thinking about maybe setting up another team up in Wolfpack. So I think by now we are already 3 or 4 people in this stream who are interested in doing Wolfpack, and my suggestion was that maybe we could find a date between Christmas and New Year to do a little stream together and doing some Wolfpack. And yeah, it would be great if we could kind of get together a team of 4 or 5 people doing that. So everybody can think about that, and yeah, over the next week maybe we can rediscuss that and see if we can fix a date for that. Ah, yeah, right. You mentioned that. Yeah, weight loss. Yeah, it would be a pity because weight loss, I think, is the most experienced guy in U-boat, or I don't know, hero, what your experience actually is. But at least, yeah, from one-to-one experience, I know that weight loss is already having quite a good overview on Wolfpack. So you really need a few people, at least one guy who knows what he does in the game.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Yeah, I don't know weight loss. If you might on the 28th, yeah, okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. So maybe we could set up a joint stream and a joint game team up in Wolfpack on the 28th or the 29th, something like that. Let's keep that in mind. Hey, that guy, he looks like he's terribly listing. Although I know that sometimes the ships look like listing, although they are perfectly fine. So is this guy actually having trouble? By the way, give it a save at that point. And now see what we can do. Maybe I would like to have the captain on the attack periscope. Okay, this torpedo is just being maintained. So,
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen.
alright, I give 2 additional hands to Mr. Schneider so that he can do the maintenance faster, because if we look at it, this one is under maintenance, this urgently needs maintenance, and this one just as well. The torpedo tube is inaccessible. Yeah, this is also interesting, that if one of the torpedo tubes is under maintenance, you cannot access the other one right above or below. Yeah, that's right.
Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
Yeah, I just had a few very shallow dives into Wolfpack. So I'm not the expert. So if we would do some joint action, I would love to have weight loss with us, because he quite knows what he does in Wolfpack, I think. And weight loss, you have been playing Wolfpack quite a few times since we did our team up there, right? And I haven't had a single Wolfpack session since then, I have to admit. So there the guy comes. Pretty hard to say what they are from that angle. So
Langsame Fahrt zurück.
now let's see that we get onto a perpendicular position to their course. And I think we need to get away. We have to get away a bit from their course, because at the moment it pretty much looks like we would be too close for a good firing position. That can't be. Come on.
Torpedorohr 1 gewartet.
Ah, okay. This is how the mechanics works when you do it backwards. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. There he is. Coming in close. Velocity, well, my guess was 8. And as usual, I'm not in a position to do a decent determination of the speed by this stopwatch thingy. Angle on bow at the moment, pretty shallow, something like that. And the distance. First I have to do the identification of that ship. And at the moment I'm not quite sure. Let's hide away the periscope.
Ja.
Okay. It's Spanish. Yeah, okay, Spanish. So Spanish is neutral, right? If we look at the map, Spain is still neutral, yeah.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet.
There they are, coming in. Let's give it a save. Let's give it a stop, I mean. Yeah, actually, well, I was purposefully choosing the English language because I hoped to address people all over the world. I'm just positively surprised that this concept actually works. That's the point. But yeah, in principle, that was exactly what I intended to get. To have people from all over the world on the stream. And it's so great to see that it does work. So, but now, please excuse me for one human need. I have to be AFK for a minute. Alright, back again. Thanks very much for your patience. So let's carry on. Yeah, we have to get out of the way of that ship a bit. And maybe do a bit of time acceleration. Maybe I would like to have Mr. Grade assisting the crewmates at the depth steers for better depth keeping. Okay, we lost track of them. Must be 60, 70. There it is. Nice. Got it. Ah, it's a Spaniard. If we extrapolate the course, yeah, it looks pretty reasonable. This guy is heading for Spain or for Gibraltar. Hey, yip yip. All right. So, thanks for joining. And yeah, have a good night. See you then. Ja, gute Nacht. Gute Nacht. Es war toll, dich im Stream zu haben. See ya. Looking forward to have you back in. Yeah, it's a pity. Pretty much looks like we can't sink that guy, but we still can. What we still can do is board it. Whatever the situation is, let's first save. And then get back to forward. Get back to the surface. And then, yeah, we still haven't yet completely reloaded our batteries. There we go. That's pretty fast. So, Mr. Hinrich, please man the radio. And we are gonna report this. Let's intercept their course.
Langsame Fahrt voraus. Kleine Fahrt voraus.
There we are. Maybe I would like to change course now onto a parallel course. Okay, looks like my estimation of their course was not 100% correct. But like this.
Langsame Fahrt voraus.
Yeah, now it pretty much looks like a perfect parallel course. And reduce speed. Yeah, we could actually stop and interact with the guys. Send a delegation. The freighter is unarmed, seems not to be escorted, and flies a neutral flag. The price rules allow us to sink such a ship only if we are certain that he is heading towards an enemy port or having contraband. So send a delegation to the freighter. No. Usually I send Mr. Grader, our chief engineer, Mr. Arles, our chief mechanic, and Mr. Trummel, our bosun. And 5 crewmates. There we go. So they should be stopping by now. Yeah, beautiful, this animation with the Zodiac. Yeah, after climbing the deck, our crew faces a cold welcome from the cargo ship's crew. What do you want? Asked the captain in German, without exchanging any pleasantries. This is a neutral ship, and you shouldn't be here. Now ask the captain for the shipping documents. According to documents, the ship is directed to the port of Vigo and is transporting food. If these documents are correct, this ship is not involved in any war effort, and sinking could lead to diplomatic incidences. So put some pressure on the guy. First, state that the course doesn't quite look like he's going for the port of Vigo, which is actually true, because if I extrapolate the course, I think it looks like they're heading for a more southern target. The captain explains that this cargo is actually completely common. He seems to be right. Surprised that you do that claims. He seems to be right, okay. Now let's search the cargo hold. What did he say? He was carrying food. So here we are. Is it still moving? No. There we go. The search of the ship takes some time. Let's just hope that we don't experience any surprises while we are searching the ship. %. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now let's see what we get. Okay, regarding the search, nothing suspicious was found. View the transported goods. Yeah, it's food, and yeah, at one point I thought that this ammo is suspicious, but maybe, yeah, it's just their ammo for their own guns. Yeah, so we don't have any reason to sink that guy. We have to let them go. Meet the captain at the office and return to our ship. Wow, that's a pity. No, at least we can report that to the headquarters that we did inspect that ship. Gives us some additional budget. Yeah, okay, so this Spanish man, there he goes.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Ich könnte etwas Hilfe gebrauchen. Natürlich, Herr Kaloin.
And we can actually carry on and see if we find other targets. let's carry on that way.
Lossetzen.
Give it a save. Now it's 4 o'clock. I mean, so adding, subtracting 4 hours, so it's 12 o'clock actually, local time right now. Does it make sense? Okay, there she goes.
Torpedo Rohr 3 gewartet.
Not wet, just cold. Yeah, ask weight loss. I don't know, weight loss, are you still lurking? So if you hear that question of not wet, just cold. So I never went totally through the war. I never was so deep into the war like now, almost 3 years into the war, but yeah, I never myself got to the end of the war. But a few guys in the stream did, and weight loss is one of them. So I don't want to boast with knowledge. That's not right. My own knowledge, let's see. So maybe at the moment he's not in the stream, but maybe later, maybe he's gonna pick up that question. I would pretty much love to have this question being answered by one of you guys who actually experienced it. On we go. Now 6 o'clock, change of watch, and Mr. Trommel at the map. That's very good. We have 65% navigation correctness, so it's pretty good that he is gonna check it. Yeah, that's us in the endless spaces of Atlantic. Of the Western Atlantic. Yeah, we are so far away still from shore. On the map it looks like we are pretty close to the shore of the Canadian coast, but yeah, still so far away. Ha. Alright, chainsaw. So what will it be? What will be your dinner? If I may ask. Yeah, come on, let's do another hydrophone check right now. There we go.
Auf 50 Meter.
So 9 o'clock European time means that the sun is still high above the horizon. Now hydrophone check means that here Mr. Arlos is actually opening the valves. 2 crewmates have been manning the depth steers. The ballast tanks are being flooded. First the 4 ballast tank, and all the off-watch crewmates I've been run into the front compartment, assembling there to give additional front ballast for diving. And yeah, back ballast tank, stern ballast tank is full as well, and down we go. Hey, chili verde. What is it? That sounds good. Pretty much like chili con carne.
25
So, what would be chili verde? What are the ingredients?
Aktuelle Tiefe 40 Meter. Meter.
Yeah, as for me, we actually had that wonderful afternoon with my old school friends, and we went to a restaurant, which was pretty nice. And yeah, for tomorrow, I did prepare some beans actually. Already on Friday evening, I put some beans into water to soak them. And this morning I set up some beans and bacon and beef.
50 Meter.
And yeah, all the beans and a bit of like celery and carrots. I have to briefly think about correct names, and carrots and onions and so what is this? In German it's Lauch. In English it is leech, I think. Okay, slow roasted pork. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm going to Google that. Actually, cooking is one of the few other hobbies that I am still able to practice, apart from gaming and streaming. Leek. Okay. Lauch is leek. Yeah. That's right. I think. Yeah. Yeah, no, I said leech. Yeah, that's something different. Yeah. The leek. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, as I said, I quite like to cook. And here at home, it's usually my job to prepare the food. And I pretty much enjoy that. Always have that feeling that, yeah, cooking is kind of pretty relaxing. And yeah, me personally, I love to enjoy the results, and the other people in the family usually as well. Although our son is probably not gonna be big fan of the beans, but at least the rest of the family. So I actually had a mixture of 2/3 of white beans and 1/3 of kidney beans. Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I actually had a smoker, and I very much like this kind of American barbecue style. And problem is that 2 years ago the side firebox of my smoker was completely rusted, corroded, and the last time I put coal into it and was igniting it, the coal was just falling through the side firebox. And since then I'm not doing this kind of smoker barbecue anymore, but I really need to get a new smoker actually. So you US guys, you have a wonderful food culture there about smoking, about barbecue. I really love that. Like pulled pork, I did pulled pork for many times. And also, what is it when you have that beef smoked for something like 12 hours? Just remember the name of that. Yeah, if you have a decent piece of meat and slow cook it over hours, that's really great.
Anblasen.
Yeah, the ribs, I never was very satisfied by the ribs that I did. Brisket, yeah, right, that's the name. This is, yeah, it takes an enormous time, right? So you, well, is it in German? It's something like beef breast, the breast piece, which is, yeah, it becomes so tender if you
20 Meter.
cook it over low heat in the smoker over, something like 8 or 10 or 12 hours. It becomes so great. And the taste is just better than any kind of fillet or short fried steak or something. I love this slow cooked stuff. And I pretty much love this smoky flavor. And yeah, if you kind of put some, how do you call it? What you, yeah, what you put on top of your pulled pork. Help me with the word. The mop, right? Yeah. To mop it decently every half an hour. Yeah, great. I really have to get a smoker again. Yeah, by now, if I do barbecue, I just do it on, I would call it a classical grill. A grill just over coals in a bowl, hanging it up above them just by 3 chains, which is great. Not west, just cold? Alright. Was a pleasure to have you in. Have a good night. Yeah, my problem was that the few times that I actually did ribs, they were too smoky. So you have this very thin layer of meat on the bones, and I actually made it too smoky for my taste. Because I added additional wood to get the wood smoke flavor, but afterwards I was recognizing that I just overdid it actually. So I should have done it just with coals, I think, without additional wood smoke flavors, wood. Yeah, we are heading west into the sunset. Carrying on.
Ich benötige etwas Unterstützung. Torpedorohr 3 gewartet.
It's night time.
Ich benötige hier etwas Unterstützung.
And let's give it another hydrophone check. By the way, guys, I just see that I have a few crisps left here. And after talking so much about food, I just have to have that tiny bit of leftovers of crisps. So sorry, guys, if I do molest you with a bit of munching noise for now. Alright, there we go. Bell's tanks are being flooded.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Now, let's see. Yeah, it's just 8 knots of wind speed, so it's
25 Meter.
just a moderate sea, which means that we will probably have the maximum hydrophone. No, not quite yet. Okay, it's because we are still running the engines. So as soon as
40 Meter.
we are at 50 meters below sea level, the crew is going to stop the engines, and this will finally increase the listening range a bit more.
Torpedorohr 4 gewartet.
Yeah, okay, so this is some decent weather, and we really get the maximum detection range. Imagine, within this range of a radius of more than 90 miles, we will be able to recognize just any moving propeller.
45 Meter.
No, I did put some additional special wood onto the coal. Don't quite remember what it was, I have to admit.
Meter.
Meter.
Wie lauten Ihre Befehle, Herr Kaloi?
No hydrophone contact yet. I just googled it. It was hickory actually that I was using. So I did put, again and again, I did put a piece of hickory onto the coals. And yeah, for my taste, that was a bit too much of smoke flavor on that ribs. Yeah, it was hickory actually that I was using. Yeah, I think I just overdid it. By the way, salmon. That's something that I did pretty often. To smoke salmon. Or trout also a few times. And salmon in a smoker, yeah, it becomes great because if you cook or fry salmon, sometimes it becomes a bit dry. And in the smoker it really stays juicy and gets that flavor. I have a great recipe for salmon. Yeah, but as I said, my problem is that my smoker broke down something like 2 years ago. And since then I'm only doing kind of classical European barbecue with a grill swinging over a bowl of coals, which is just fine as well. Okay, a Traeger smoker. I'm gonna check that one out. You make me curious. Never heard of that one.
40 Meter.
But I guess if I Google it, I would get some results, right? There we go back to the surface, and there was no any contact in
20 Meter.
the whole hydrophone range.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Back to the surface. It's completely dark. Yeah, I'm playing at highest difficulty level, which is also, yeah, which also means that I'm playing with dark nights. So at the moment, this is not quite the night. Yeah, we have clouds, so there is no moon. Pretty dark actually. But let's, yeah, give it a save for now. And carry on a bit. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock rock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock rock. Now, change of watch, Mr. Trommel again at the map. Let's get a little bit further. 7,
Herr Kaloin, wir sind aufgetaucht.
yeah, 8 o'clock. And it's still dark, but we already have a hint of sunlight in the east. And, yeah, see, the swell looks pretty choppy by now. So let's see. Wow, we have a wind speed of 25 knots, so a storm has been rising. Meanwhile, thunderstorm going on and 25 knots. That's the maximum wind speed that you can get in the game. And of course, then we do have quite some waves, swell, pretty choppy. But the plan was to give it another hydrophone check.
Auf 50 Meter.
So again, you see the off-watch crew running towards the bows. One crewmate has already manned the Depth steers. Mr. Arlos is gonna open the valves to flood the ballast tanks. The second crewmate arriving at the depth steers. All these other crewmates running to the front compartment. The bow ballast tank already been filled, and the stern ballast tank following. And there we are. Yeah, if you consider that back then these guys, they didn't have any computer control support. They had to do all this stuff manually. And you could do so many things wrong. I don't want to know how many submarines were just lost because the crew did something wrong. In the heat of battle, just operated the wrong handle or the wrong valve, making the submarine sink forever. And this is something that you can wonderfully see if you play Wolfpack, because there you really do all the handling of the ballast tanks and everything just manually. So in terms of physics, it's even more detailed than this one here. But yeah, on the other hand, so it's too detailed, I think, for most of the players. And that's why it's pretty hard to find people to play that game together with you. It's just too tough. So here we are doing a hydrophone check, and now we have 25 knots of wind going up. We have an enormous swell, we have a thunderstorm, and we see that this actually severely affects the range of our hydrophone, and by now we only have a detection radius of 20 miles with the hydrophone. And remember, at perfect weather we had a detection range of 90 miles. Yeah, not sure. Did they update something? I didn't follow it pretty closely for the last month, so I don't know if there's any particular update about, you say, new engine area at Wolfpack. I'm not aware of that, I have to admit. No contact at the moment. So guys, by the way, it's a pleasure to have you in. So I know there are quite a few people in the stream which are old acquaintances. Thanks for joining, that's just great. And yeah, I still see the number of watches going up, so it's a pleasure to have you in. And you are completely anonymous, so don't feel pushed into anything, but you could make a little streamer like me even more happy if you participate in the chat, give me a little feedback, just a hi, or tell me how deep you already are in this game, what you think about the stream. So yeah, as I said, don't feel pushed. I'm perfectly happy with you guys just watching. But yeah, getting some comments is great, and getting a follow for the Twitch guys, or subscription for the YouTube guys, of course, is wonderful feedback. Yeah, great. It's 11 people in the YouTube stream right now and 10 people in the Twitch stream. The hedgehogs, nope, not yet. Not yet Enotic. It hasn't. So I'm curious when they will come up and how I will recognize that they are coming up, but at the moment it's just still the classical depth charts in the game. By the way, hi Enotic, it's great to have you in the stream
50 Meter.
and great to have you in the chat. I hope you had a good Saturday. How are you? Yeah, as for me, my Saturday was
45
perfectly
Meter.
fine. I met with 2 old school friends and their wives. So my wife and me, we went somewhere to the northwest of my place here, and we did some hiking there with those couples, those 2 schoolmates of mine with their wives. And yeah, it's very old friends, and yeah, it's just great to spend some hours with these guys. Always reminds me that, yeah, that it's really worthwhile to keep contact to old friends. Yeah, that was a great opportunity. These 2 guys are actually my best friends, I would say, since, yeah, decades. And yeah, it always comes so easy if we meet.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
There we are, back to the surface. Rain is still going on. Yeah, come on. Bad weather. 8 o'clock in the morning, so the sun is gonna probably rise in 2 hours. Yeah, keep in mind that the time that we have is European time. And look at our position where we are. So this is at least 4 hours of time difference with which we have to subtract from the European time. Yeah, that's the problem about Sunday, right? So it's still the day off. Actually, for me, this Sunday will not be a day off. I think I'm gonna have to work for something like, yeah, a few hours, 4 or 5 hours. Some backlog that I still have from work from last week. And yeah, for me, I have to get up pretty early on Monday. I have to be at my job site at latest at 8:15. It's a fixed date, so which I have on every Monday. So yeah, as I'm living in the Frankfurt area, we do have quite some rush hour there, which means that I have to be moving at, yeah, latest 6:30, getting up at 5:30 usually on Monday morning. And that's actually the reason why I don't stream on Saturday nights. Ah, you are already. Yeah, I was kind of suspicious about that from what you wrote. So that means you're from. Where do we already have Sunday right now? Well, okay. I mean, in principle, I also have Sunday. It's around here. It's 2:30, which is technically Sunday. I still feel like Saturday night, but yeah, it is definitely Sunday. So I would be pretty curious where you are streaming from or what your time actually is. Monday starts on Saturday. Yes. Come on.
Fedoror 2 gewartet.
Let's carry on a bit towards the Canadian coast.
Gehe etwas Unterstützung.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloi.
Okay, so it is actually Sunday morning at your place. Let me think about. So we have a time shift of something like 4 hours. What would it be? So if you were, I don't know, is it 4 hours of time shift from Europe? I have no idea actually. I don't have a gut feeling towards the east. So I would be very curious if you give me some rough hint where you're from, but if you don't want to tell, it's perfectly fine. I have the highest esteem for anybody who says I want to stay anonymous in the World Wide Web. So if you don't want to answer it, just ignore my question, but yes, still, I would be curious where we would end up with a plus of 4 hours towards the east from my place here, which is actually Germany, Frankfurt area. Yeah, above Trouty, it's just 1 hour. You're from, yeah, what did you say? You're from Manchester, right? Yep. So it's this 1 hour of time difference between Frankfurt and Manchester. Actually, on my last summer holiday this year, we went to Ireland and we met a very nice old retired guy from Manchester who was spending his retirement in Ireland, actually. So he bought some little house there. And he actually allowed us to camp in his garden, so we could pitch our tent just behind his house when the weather was getting pretty bad and rainy and stormy. And we were just passing by. We just saw him in the garden and he asked us. That was so great. He just offered us to put up our tent in the wind shadow of his house. And he was originally from Manchester. Yeah, generally that was pretty amazing. We have met so many nice guys on that summer holiday in Ireland. And here we are still on the endless sea, moving on and on. Oh, wonderful. So many people in the stream on Twitch as well as on YouTube. And Aqua Icing, hey, I've been missing you, Aqua Icing. It's a pleasure to have you back in the stream. So you're coming in pretty late. My guess would be that you had been working today. Okay, no work today, so maybe you just had some, yeah, social things going on. It's Saturday. Hey, Enotic, to be honest, I think I haven't heard of that issue about the metro, about the subway. Yeah, Enotic, I like this kind of riddle that you give us, but I have to admit, I don't know what that is, and I'm actually not daring to guess, because I would feel that I might insult the people from that town. So there we are going on, and let's give it a save, and please give me the opportunity to be AFK for just one more minute. Don't go away, I'm back in 60 seconds. Alright, back again. So, Enotic, if you're still there, I would still like to guess where you're from. So, this hint about the subway, that doesn't help me anything because I never heard about that. 1.2 million people. That doesn't help me much. Let me go back to 4 hours of time difference to the east. So if I would guess 4 hours of time difference to the east, would it be something like Georgia, Georgian, or Turkey? Or further? Ah, okay, alright. Alright. So it's further east than I thought. So that's Russia, isn't it? Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you in. Yeah, alright. So although there are some, let me say, animosities between the countries, I pretty much love to just ignore it and just look at us being, yeah, just guys. So I'm very happy to have you in the stream. Yeah, I mean that. I'm not just saying that because I say for everybody I'm happy to have you in the stream, but I'm actually particularly happy to have you in the stream from Russia just as well. Yeah, gaming and streaming should really connect the world and bring people together. Hey, Boff Trouty, alright. It was a pleasure to have you in the stream. Yeah, I have to get to bed soon as well. Yeah, have a good night. And yeah, as I said, I'm definitely not gonna stream tomorrow because I have to get up so early on Monday. But maybe on Tuesday, Thursday, but as usual, my next 100% U-boat stream will be on Thursday night. And before, if I had the chance to do a little bit of streaming on Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, it would probably trying out something else than U-boat. Yeah, Boff Trouty, have a good one. I would really love to visit your city, by the way. Haven't had the opportunity to visit England ever. So I've been to Ireland, as I said, in summer holiday, and I have spent quite some time in Scotland. And my only contact to the country of England was when I was passing through by car to Scotland, get my stuff there. And yeah, that's very much of a pity. I think there are wonderful places to visit. And yeah, sooner or later I have to spend some time in England just as well. Yeah, I'm not quite familiar with the PS5, by the way. Do you still have to feed the PS5 with a disc, or couldn't you just download it like you do it for the PC? Yeah, sorry, it's just my complete non-existing knowledge about the PS5, actually, creating that question. Come on, let's go on. 2 o'clock. Oh, we are really closing in. Let's do another hydrophone check.
35 Meter.
So it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon on European time. Minus 4 hours would be 11 o'clock local. Okay, alright, yeah. Sorry to hear that. That's too bad.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
Okay, the weather has improved. It's only 10 knots of wind speed, so we should have a large convoy. There we are. There we are.
Wie lauten
And it's there,
Tiefe
moving away.
30 Meter.
So this would be our next chase, actually. Let's give it a mark. Convoy 02, moving away. So we are gonna chase that guy down, but not tonight.
30 Meter.
Yeah, we are in pretty shallow waters here already. Let's look at the map, and with the mouse over, here you see the depth, and the mouse over gives us 50 to 100 meters. So the crew only sent the boat down to something like 35 meters because it's pretty shallow around here. I don't know. Enotic. I have no idea. I don't know. So anybody? So Bob Trouty just went out. He's from the UK. Anyone else still left in the chat from the UK? So Bob Trouty would have been from Manchester. Not wet, just cold. Are you still there? I think you also went to bed, right? So the guys from Great Britain, from the UK, they went to bed already. We had one guy from Manchester and one guy from Liverpool in the chat. But yeah, I think they both quitted. And I can't tell. Actually, to be honest, I couldn't even tell you the area of Germany.
Schraubengeräusch. Handelsschiff. Peilung 200 Grad.
Ah, we get another contact. Let's see.
Alloy.
This one and this one. Single 3, single unit. Let's put it on to the map. So you see, it's always worthwhile to stay down for a hydrophone check. Yeah, 2,300,000 square kilometers. That's a bit. What do you mean by it's just 8 English people living there? Okay, no, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's 8 times. Yep. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. That's an enormous area, actually. Yeah. I think if you would look at the population, it would probably be a bit different. But in terms of area, it's pretty amazing to look at that. Yeah.
Anblasen.
There we go, back to the surface. So what's gonna happen? Somebody's gonna operate the valves so that now compressed air is gonna be pushed into the ballast tanks to push the water back out where it belongs, into the sea. For the front ballast tank, and also of course for the stern ballast tank. And there are more ballast tanks down here below, which you can't really see.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
Herr Kaloin, wir sind aufgetaucht.
Yeah. Yeah, your country is enormously large. That's so amazing, yep. So now the question is, should I go after the single one or should I go after the convoy? Hey, come on, we want to do some more convoy action.
Kurs auf
So
Dieselmotoren
let's turn around,
setzen.
let's go flank, and now do some figures in principle. Assumption again would be that a convoy would be moving with something like 8 knots. It mustn't be. Sometimes I also ran into convoys which are moving with something like 12 knots, but most probable they are going with just 8 knots. And what about us when we are going flank speed? In 1 hour we would go 17 miles. So this would allow us to give us another hydrophone check. Let's do that. Let's go for 1 hour and then take another hydrophone check. Then this will give us their bearing, their heading and their speed roughly. So here we are, 1 hour and
Tauchen auf
hydrophone check
35
again.
Meter.
Again, all the off-watch crew running to the front compartment. Mr. Schneider is working on the maintenance of the torpedoes. That's great.
Aktuelle Tiefe 5
Auf
Meter.
E-Motoren wechseln.
Torpedorohr 2 gewartet. 25 Meter.
Yeah, I'm drinking half wine, half water. In German we call it Schorle.
Großer Konvoi.
Sch-
Timing,
Schorle.
12 Grad.
Weißweinschorle. It's white wine diluted with water. And that's what I have at the moment.
30 Meter.
So cheers, guys. Thanks for being in the stream. I much appreciate that.
Meter.
There we are going down to a hydrophone check again. And let's see what the hydrophone tells us about their position. Okay, that definitely looks like they are moving not faster than 7, maybe 8, maybe only 7 knots. CO2, convoy O2. Okay, so now I do have 2 data points, this one and this one, so I could extrapolate their course a bit to be something like that. And I also can interpolate their speed to be something like 6 or 7 knots, probably 7 knots. Now there are more contacts, that's them. And what about you guys? Oh, this one is moving fast, obviously. That's a fast mover. Good that I didn't start to follow that guy. Single 03. So, not much of a chance to... Wow, it's moving with 12 knots. Nope. I'm definitely not gonna try to catch up with this guy.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Even tough enough to catch up with that guy. But I'm gonna try. Let's try to intercept that convoy. But nevertheless, let's just wait out the 5 minutes of hydrophone check to be sure that we just got any contact. This one, that one. Yeah, we are still silently down here. Engines turned off and just listening. Detecting just any moving propeller in the range of 90 miles. Yeah, it's quite amazing to watch that. I mean, we have this wonderful chatty community here on Twitch and on YouTube. People are usually just watching. So I always love to try to motivate also you guys from YouTube doing some chat, participating in the chat, but yeah, don't feel pushed. Just do just do as you like. Perfectly fine. And so a big compliment to the Twitch community, because this is really why I love streaming. To just have some contact with you guys. Some exchange. There we go, back to the surface.
Auf Dieselmotoren wechseln.
And yeah, by now we do have a mission. Like that. Let's give it a save. Hey, I just see that there's one guy which I like pretty much, and he is doing the game of Armor Reforger. So, may I ask you to have a bit of patience? I'm gonna have to turn in by now, but please give it another maybe 5 minutes, and we are gonna do a raid with that guy. His name is Wolfpack, and he's doing wonderful streaming, and right now he is in Armor Reforger, which is a tactical shooter military simulation which I quite like, and I think it's worthwhile. So guys, may I just ask you for that little patience so that we can give him a nice little raid. So for now, let me say good night and thank you very much for being in the stream. It was a pleasure to have you in, and looking forward to see you again. Just have to check it now. Now let's see if we get the guy. Okay. Yeah, there we are. And let's rate him. Okay, he's playing on a particular server where there is winter. Never saw that before, I have to admit. So guys, please just be patient and stay in the stream until we give that guy a raid. And here we are. So guys, have a good night. I'm gonna end the stream and let's have a little bit of a... I'm staying tuned in, maybe for another few minutes, 10 or 20 minutes, watching Mr. Wolfpack doing armor. Pretty curious about that. So guys, have a good night and see you then.